Val d'Aran is located in the Spanish part of the Pyrenees Mountains. This is a fantastic area for mountain activities, and that's where UTMB has decided to organize one of their new races. As part of the Val d'Aran by UTMB, there are 4 distances available. The Sky Race with 15 kilometers starting and finishing from Beret, the PDA and its 55 kilometers from Beret to Viella, then the CDH with 105 kilometers from Les to Viella, and finally the VDA with a loop of 162 kilometers starting and finishing in Viella. The race that we'll cover in this video is the CDH. This is a 105 km race with 6,500 meters of elevation, and the climbing score on this one is maxed out to 10. On the technical side, other than the distance and elevation itself, there are no major difficulties. There are some very steep uphill or downhill, but the trails are well marked. There are some rocky areas which can become slippery in case of rain, so it's very weather dependent. The race starts at 7:30 from Les, a city quite close to the French border. There are quite a lot of participants with roughly 1,000 runners, and you can see that the UTMB organization is quite used to this kind of events. There is a shuttle service which has been put together to bring runners from everywhere in the valley to Les. That was very convenient. On the other side, 1,000 persons is a lot, and especially at the beginning there were some major hiccups, with large group of runners skipping the start order and making it quite messy. It was very nice also to see a lot of different people and also from all ages, and it gives me hope that I will still be able to run in 20 years from now. So at the beginning there was a lot of traffic jam, especially for people like me stuck at the back of the pack, but as soon as the first uphill starts, the paths become larger and it becomes easier to get moving. The first part of the course between the start and the first aid station goes mainly through some forest, and you are crossing some small mountain village from time to time. When you come to an aid station, you need to put a mask on your face and you need to keep your distances from others as much as possible, even though it can be tricky at times. After the first aid station, you start moving toward a more remote area. The course goes through a 13 km long uphill in the Val de Thorane. At the end of the climb you reach a plateau in altitude where you are surrounded by lakes and mountains. From this point, the race goes through some old iron mines leftovers, so you will run past some very old buildings, some mining holes in the mountain, and further along the course you will run through some old mining tunnels. It is not easy to find some information on the history of the mines of Layat. It seems that the activity was started in 1845 by a Frenchman, and the exploitation was definitely closed in 1956. At the beginning of the 20th century, the mining operations were mechanized, with the construction of a railway and a cable cars to move the mine material from the high altitude plateau down to the valley. After a nice downhill, we reach the second aid station, Pass Estret. By the way, I have to apologize for my pronunciation of all these Catalan names that I am murdering. So just after the aid station, we follow directly with a steep uphill, which will take us to one of the highest areas of the race. At the end of the uphill, we are rewarded with a fantastic view on the Aneto, which is the highest summit of the Pyrenees at 3,404 meters, and we make our way towards the Porte des Urets passage at 2,533 meters. At this point we are at the border between Spain and France, and we can take a nice look at the French side. Now we reach the pretty fun part of the race, where we have to go through multiple small tunnels. The tunnels are not very big, and you need to pay attention not to hit your head while you are crossing them.
Ah, ça me va, putain.
After passing the Montolius Pass, we get to run one of the longest and nicest downhill of the race, where you can get some decent speed until you reach the aid station of Montgari. There are 9 aid stations in total on the CDH, so that's one every 10 to 15 kilometers, which is pretty nice and convenient. In addition, you often cross some nice water streams, so running out of water in this race is not an issue. Each aid station has a very decent food and drinks selection. You can also get some medical assistance if required. Most of them are also equipped with toilets. So this race has a pretty high standard when it comes to aid stations, which is quite nice when you are not used to it. As you can see, there are quite a lot of people who are involved in supporting the organization of the race. In addition to all the volunteers that you find at the aid stations, you have also the medical and rescue staff located in remote areas in between aid stations. And all these people spend several hours of their time at the same place supporting the runners. All the volunteers that I've met during the race were very nice and very helpful, and I'm very grateful to them. So without these people, this kind of race could not happen. Leaving an aid station is always a bit tough. You have to get your legs moving again, even if your body just wants to sit and relax in a chair. So as a rule of thumb, don't spend too much time there and get moving as soon as possible. Now we are moving toward Beret, which is where the main aid station is located and where you can get access to your drop bag. In addition to the volunteers, I would like to have a word for the people that you are passing along the way. Everybody is very nice and cheering you up, and that's a really nice feeling when you are running this race. Also, not all spectators are human. The course is now heading towards the bottom of the valley in a long downhill. You will pass above Bakera, which is the main ski resort of the valley, then you will cross some typical mountain village. The race itself can be divided into two distinct parts. The first part, as we have seen, is about this high altitude scenery and the mining past of the Val d'Aran. The second part of the race is evolving in an area with a completely different landscape. The course is going through the Cirque of Colomer. The area is just beautiful with lots and lots of rivers and lakes. You will go through a very long uphill up to the highest point of the race, the Podos Pass at 2600 meters, which will be followed by a long technical descent to Resec down in the valley. From there, 25 kilometers are left until the finish line. This last part is not very interesting when compared to the rest of the course. My last movie take was at the Podos Pass and the night was falling on us. So, in a conclusion, should you take part in this race? The most important thing to know is that this is a big race with a lot of participants. It can be a bit offsetting if you are used to run by yourself in the middle of nowhere. No, for me, the landscapes of the Val d'Aran and its people are definitely the best part of the race, and I've really enjoyed myself running the CDH. So yes, it was a quite positive experience and I recommend it. Thanks for watching.